before the diagnosis. We could do anything, even during the first few years. We could do anything. But life changed in every possible way. It's very strange to us how this has all happened. The thing about that car is it came into our life like Herbie the Love Bug, and then it just sort of has maintained this Herbie the Love Bug sort of standard. It does what it wants to do. Some days it wants to go really fast, some days it wants to go the speed limit. Some days it really wants to, make her smile ear to ear, and some days it makes her howl. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. The car, in some ways, feels like it saved our life.
Porsches have style, pedigree, and speed. For those of us that love and are passionate about Porsche, it doesn't matter which one you own or if you own one at all. In this community, all are welcome. Join us as we delve into the heart of Porsche culture, where every story is as unique as the cars themselves. I'm Bo Bachman, and this is my Porsche Story.
It's funny, all the times we crossed paths and never actually met each other. There's a lot of stories like that actually throughout like 10 years in LA where we were at the same place, the same night, but never met. For years and years and years, I worked in the entertainment industry, worked on a lot of big shows, and worked my way up the line.
You met your wife in production, right?
We worked together on a lot of the same things, but believe it or not, we had never met on any of them. We met through a mutual friend, a producer on one of the shows we'd worked on, Everybody Hates Chris. Nicole used to be Chris Rock's publicist, and I was a production supervisor on that show. Nicole worked high-level talent, like people you know. And they were always on the road, so she was on the road 40 weeks a year. Anybody who knows Nicole today has no idea who she used to be. Fierce doesn't cut it when big-name people you would know get in the news for saying the wrong thing or bringing the wrong thing on an airplane or just doing the wrong thing in general. It was her job to figure out how to deal with it. All of that was sort of in her personality. She would take no shit. We met in 2010. We got married in 2013. Nicole was experiencing vision issues and she was clumsier than usual. She went to the doctor to see what was going on. And she was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. It's hard. It's the hardest thing either of us have ever gone through. And by 2015, she couldn't work anymore. And everything just sort of imploded and collapsed, and we didn't know what to do. Having a terminal illness, especially one that takes a long time, so you have nothing to do but think, you evolve. We realized we couldn't do what we used to do, and we couldn't live how we used to live before the diagnosis. We would travel all the time, and this new life was going to be nothing like the old life. It imploded in such a way that we were like, okay, back to the drawing board. If we're gonna do anything, it's gotta be from scratch and all different. At the time, Porsche they were on the lower side. It was like it was a good investment because you weren't gonna lose money, it seemed. So we decided to buy the 911. So we started looking around and going through the classifieds and the online ads and everything. And we looked at a red one. I looked at a couple silver ones. We looked at this blue one, which was gorgeous. It was so nice, it wasn't the car. But in the back, in the shop, poking out a little bit, just like the Herbie the Love Bug story in the movie, was the yellow car. And I said, oh, well, what about that one back there? He goes, oh, you don't want that one yet. It hasn't been through the shop yet. We're like, well, I don't know, maybe, let's go. So he had us take it for a spin, and we didn't think much of it. We left thinking like the hunt is still on. I couldn't get it out of my mind that night. And I mentioned it to Nicole the next day, and she said the same thing. She goes, I can't stop thinking about it either. I said, all right, so tomorrow let's go back down there. And if it's still there, we'll drive it again. And if we drive it again and like it again, we'll buy it. And we did all three, drove it home that day. Now we had this yellow car and this new life that we were exploring. So we started blowing off Friday mornings. We said, let's take a drive. And we started this Porsche Life 111 Instagram. So like log all these memories of this fun life we were having when we were able to have it because we knew it was going to go away. We really felt like we were saying, fuck you, world, like we're doing our own thing, you know? This is for us. The yellow car is awesome. It was just a 2005 Carrera S. We go to a very, very awesome shop, and they've built us a really cool hot rod. It's the stock 3.8, but they put IPD plenum and GT3 throttle body, AWE, racing cats, Pfister design exhaust, the GT3 shifter. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Every little bit has been touched somewhere. It's ferocious, it's fun, it's really fun. Going up to Angeles Crest was sort of a commitment back then. On Friday mornings, there was only a couple bikes here and no other cars. And we found our escape. Newcomb's Ranch. It's 10 acres of privately owned land and thousands of acres of national forest. It's kind of amazing. So we said, well, shit, let's stop in and we'll get some coffee and some grub or whatever. We said, okay, this worked and we should do it again. And we came up the very next Friday and never stopped coming. I don't know how it all happened because none of it was intentional. We started coming to breakfast here. We would post the pictures on Instagram of this nice little mountain hideaway and this cool old race car parked in front. And then other people would come. We were coming here for, I don't know, a year probably, I would say, on those Friday mornings. And we called it Breakfast Club just because, like, whatever. One day we were thinking, this thing is becoming something now and it kind of needs a name. My wife said, what are we trying to say here? Good vibes, right? Like, just say good vibes. And that's where it all came from, like good vibes. And we just put it together, Good Vibes Breakfast Club. While we were here, people were saying, oh, we like your Instagram. Do you have a podcast? No, we don't have a podcast. Oh, well, you should start a podcast. And I guess somewhere in there, we started the podcast.
Nicole was my amazing publicist.
You're one of my favorites. Always, you helped me launch my career.
You launched my career.
I know, but we're...
It really blew up for the public, COVID, or whatever you want to call that period, quarantine. We kept coming up here because one of the things you were allowed to do was go be outside. So we would like get donuts and pick up coffee like we do today. And we just kept coming up on Fridays because it was already the routine. And it turned out other people had the same idea and they kept coming. And then it just blew up. It just blew up. It means a lot because she was a high-powered publicist, so she used to be able to move that needle inauthentically. She would manufacture that move. This has been the literal grassroots. I post every Thursday night, once I get the clear from Caltrans, that we're coming up. And that's the only, like, official invite that anybody would get. They all just come. I grew up with Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was very important to me. When I was younger and a producer, the dream inside of me was always to wish that I was more like Mr. Rogers. And Nicole and I both kind of feel that way now that we have this car family that is so committed to us, so devoted to us, and we are to it. It's very overwhelming. We feel very unworthy. We're very grateful. Newcomb's Ranch just went up for sale 3 or 4 years ago. Somewhere over that time, we became the official caretakers for this place. So like that meant we got keys and we could be here. And we're heading up a consortium to buy this place because it's so important to us at this point. The situation with Nicole, we didn't really talk about how bad things are. We did our consult for home hospice care down at the bottom of the mountain. Nicole physically feels better up here. She mentally feels better up here. She emotionally feels better up here. The good vibes of this place are its own thing, but we have very personal motivations that are kind of life and death at the same time.
Being in the mountains makes me feel young again. Coming up here reminds me of when I was a little kid, when we went to see my grandparents and all I saw was trees. reminds me of that good, wholesome excitement of like going to see family members that we didn't see a lot. The community of good vibes is pretty amazing. We know so many people now that we had no idea before. I feel like everyone's protective of this vibe that we created.
Me being able to work on this place, it's like, in a weird way, painting some sort of portrait of her that will outlast what we're going through now. It's a lot. It's all a lot. You got us on a heavy time. We're doing this at a heavy time in our life.
That car has become our life. It's serendipitous how it all works.
Like, we didn't think we'd be able to have a life anymore. The car saved our life, kind of, but then this community is what's been supporting us and keeping us going.
I can't imagine life without it now. Jay's support has meant everything to me. I really have to honor that, and Good Vibes is an opportunity to do that on good days and awful days. It's what it's for. It's like, give back to each other. I don't need anything else, really, but I don't have a lot else by choice. So it's been a lot, but I couldn't do it otherwise. Sorry.
I don't know this woman.